Hello, hi everyone. Today we have with us team from SIBM Pune, so all the toppers of the SIMB exam. So Atharv, Manasa, thank you very much for joining us. Today's main agenda is to give us a complete overview about your strategy, how you planned for the last few days, last 10 days we have for the exam. Not even 10 days, we got 7 days remaining for the exam. तो 7 दिन में क्या जादू हो जाए ऐसा कि that we can all crack the exam and join the college, become your junior. So start the overview first. So Snap number one, if you go down to our site, snapking.in, I have made this in the end. If you go down on any page, I made this sheet which gives out everything about from the cutoff to everything about the score versus percentile. Everything is there. So number one, your target is 60 seconds per question. So any question which is taking more time to solve, please avoid. Unless you have a shortcut for that, don't need to attempt the question. That's my advice. First and the main advice. One simple rule to be followed. Bhari question chuna mat, easy question chhodna mat. There's one simple strategy which is applicable for the exam, because exam kab start hoga, kab khatam hoga, you not even come to know. And especially if you are based in a metro city, it sometimes will take you more time to reach the center than to actually take the exam, because it's only for 1 hour. So you need to have a timer as well per sections. I want to talk about you as well as we go along. Okay, how much time you done that kind of a strategy that first I'll take on verbal, then I go to quant, then I go to logic, or you just went with the flow? So please answer all these questions as we go along, because I strongly believe in there have to be fixed timeline per section. Otherwise, your section will go haywire. If I end up wasting too much time on a particular question, my complete strategy will go for a toss. So if you go to a site, first thing first is the actual papers. I'm a strong believer of the actual papers, solving actual papers. 4 साल इंजीनियरिंग मैंने ऐसे ही पास किया है. तो all 2021 20 topic wise, year wise, all the papers are available on the first link, actual papers. So G strategy shortcuts, if you want, I've given a sample videos as well. You can check it out, because that's very important, because timer is the main issue, especially if you're given the CAT exam. The main problem which you'll feel will be the timer issue. And guys, as we go along, if you have any question, you can post in the chat box. There's a chat box in front of you. I'll just say hi to everyone so that you can ask your doubts, and we will pick up all the questions. So first thing first, score versus percentile. I believe 45 marks should be your target. Yeah, because again, there is no cutoff. All depend upon paper. Easy aata hai ki tough aata hai, kya hota hai. So I have given the target as 45 marks. If I go down to the fact file, so 99 percentile is approximately 45 marks for slot 1, slot 2 44, slot 3 37. So agar paper tough aa gaya, to obviously cutoff will fall. So that's why there is no fixed number. But I believe in the mocks, if we're crossing 40, that's a good target to go for. Okay. And 40 will not come overnight. First, you have to touch 20 marks, then we'll touch 30, then we'll cross 40 marks. So gradually we'll improve. And I believe 20 marks are enough for that, for the SIMB exam. Okay, that's my take on that. So cutoff for all the colleges, everything is there on the link. So please check out the link. All the links, ranking, cutoff, everything is given here. So Atharva, I would like to start with you. How many mocks you have taken for the exam?
So I used to give one mock every day after CAT exam. Before
One
SNAP, I
mock.
used to take one mock every day. In the morning, I used to take mock, and in the evening, I used to analyze it. So that what actually helped me prepare for the actual exam.
Correct. If I compare CAT and the non-CAT, especially SIMB exam, the main thing you have to focus on is logic and English. Because verbal mein grammar vocab is not there in CAT. But in the SNAP exam, main focus should be on grammar and vocab, because that's the maximum number of marks which you're getting. And easy marks. Either you know or you don't know the answer. There's no third way out. Right. And Manasa, how many marks you've given?
So I started preparing for SNAP and other omits while I was preparing for CAT also. So most of the times when I was bored of CAT or I was getting so much burdened with it, I used to take mocks for all the omits. Like it was like a breather for me. I just take a SNAP mock in between. So to keep in tune that I also have to give all these exams also. So to keep
Correct.
the options open.
Correct. And especially with last 1 week remaining. So last
Yes.
7 days, if you can tell us what you did. Like I to normally say only one thing: go through the last year paper, understand the kind of question which are coming, and focus on that part. That's I think the best strategy you can do. in 1 week time. And of course, every day mock, like every morning or afternoon, evening, whenever you get time, you should give one mock. So in fact, if you're starting late, I don't mind if you give two mocks as well. A lot of people tried that. Try this for 3 days. Morning, one mock. Identify the weak area in your strategy and your subject topic wise. Focus on those topic whole afternoon. Then evening again give another mock. Identify a few more topics which are weak area, like trigonometry is not touched. And you people are famous to give question of trigonometry as well, trigonometry or coordinate geometry. One two question which are like tricky question, very easy question, but because if you have not done this thing, you will fall flat there. Fine. So if I go by the syllabus, and that's the problem with the simple exam, every topic is one question. If you look at here, and that's the main problem. I have to do every chapter of maths is cover one mark. So I can't ignore everything, anything. I have to do everything. Logarithm, trigonometry, PNC probability. You have to touch upon every topic. Again, it's not CAT. It's much more easier exam to crack. If you're not able to solve the question, it's because you don't know the topic. That's what I say normally. Yeah. So, Atharva, last 7 days, what I should do?
So last 7 days, I would recommend is to brush up on the topics which you are strong at as an aspirant. There are some topics which you are very good at. So
Correct.
those questions should not be missed when appearing for actual exam. There are some topics which you are not that good at. So you can brush up those formulas and those things which might help you crack those questions, but not necessarily. And analyzing mocks, appearing for mocks and analyzing is very important because it gives you an idea of what your strengths are and how you can approach the actual exam,
Correct.
which
Correct.
strategy to approach the actual exam with. So that's what I would recommend in last 7 days.
Correct. 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 So now you can take over. If you want to share your screen, you can do that.
Sure, sir. We'll share our screen.
Sure, sir. We also have testimonials from some of our new batch students. We'd like to share them first,
Yeah,
if
please.
that is okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it's all yours.
Yeah.
And guys, if you have any question, you can ask now. Aditya, Jay, Jyoti, Abrar, Prajwal, Pranay, any question if you have, please do post in the chat room. We would love to pick up the questions.
So can you confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. Sure. So hello everyone. So we are from SIBM, as sir has introduced us. So we also want to show you some of the testimonials from our new batch students. We are from MBA 2, both me and Atar. And we have testimonials from our students who are from the latest batch, which is MBA 1. So these are our YouTube and Instagram handles. If you have just a few moments, you can just scan them and follow us to get more updates about Snap. And we also share tips in form of reels and different shorts. You can follow us and we'll be connected all the time. I'll just stay for 2-3 seconds and I'll move the screen forward.
Also, some of you are asking questions by messaging, but just wait for a few minutes. We will cover everything. We'll answer all your doubts. Just give us a few minutes right now. And we would like to keep the session a little interactive in between. So it would be great if you can interact with us.
So, okay, as you know, we both are your hosts. As you can see, we have mentioned that Athav is from marketing and I'm from operations. So we also will talk about this that in SIBM Pune, after giving SNAP, we get the fantabulous opportunity to select our major specialization, which is not available in most of the IMs. So it is also one of the key points or USPs that you get if you come to SIBM Pune. Okay, so this is the first one. Like many people think that only people from engineering background can easily crack SNAP. But this is a myth. It's not actually the real case because only around 50% of our batch is from engineering. The other 50% is from different and diverse backgrounds. So let's see. Okay, so voice is not audible. Okay.
One needs to have. Hi everyone.
Can you check if it is audible now?
Is Mansa, it's audible.
Hi everyone, this is Shiring, and I'm here to bust a common myth that one needs to have a business background in order to do well in an MBA. Well, let me tell you, that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm a pharma graduate myself, and before joining MBA, I worked in government sector dealing with healthcare and patient. Hi everyone, and patient care. I had no prior experience in corporate and business environments, but here I am, doing MBA in marketing in one of the finest B schools in the country. What I've learned is that MBA is all about bringing diverse perspectives to the table. Your background doesn't limit you, it empowers you. My experience in pharma has given me this unique perspective which adds value in marketing discussions. If I can transition from healthcare to the business world, so can you. All you need to do is have a little bit of courage to step up and the will to grow. Believe in yourself and just do it.
So, okay, so the next thing is many people think that if you have gap years, so it will be very difficult to get through SIBM Pune because many people come here with work experience, some freshers also come here. So, but it's not like the case. We also have students from gap years. It might be 1, 2, or even 3 years of gap years are there. So let's see what is their take on this.
Hello everyone, I'm Naveen Kumar Naik. Today I'm here to bust a myth called MBA is not ideal for aspirants who have gap years. This is not so very true. Today I want to share my journey of securing a seat at one of India's top MBA colleges despite having a gap year of 6. The gap didn't intimidate me, it motivated me to build a unique profile. I emphasized my hands-on experience, my passion for learning and my commitment for personal growth. During this period, I prepared for UPSC exams which significantly enhanced my analytical thinking and aptitude. The rigorous study and diverse topics required for the UPSC cultivated my ability to analyze critically and make informed decisions, and all the above mentioned skills are very much required for MBA. When it came to interviews, I turned what some saw as a gap into a strength. I shared how my real world experience combined with analytical skills I developed during my UPSC preparation made me more resilient, adaptable and ready for the MBA journey. And finally, my message to everyone out there is that gaps don't define your potential. It's about how you learn, what you learn, how you grow and the determination you bring to the journey. With perseverance and clear purpose, anything is possible. Believe me.
So I would just like to add on this. Just I would like to know how many of you have gap years, like 1 year, 2 year. Is there anyone here who has some gap? Yes, there are some people who have gap. So I have a gap of 3 years and I'm a fresher. So people say that it's a very bad profile when we go for a B school or even for placements. People say that having 3 years gap, being a fresher with no work experience, it's a bad profile. But I can tell you that if you're able to justify your gap when you are interacting with the interviewers, you're interacting with the panel, if you're able to justify your gap, then what it does is it can create a positive impression as well. What you were doing in those years. Were you preparing for some exam? What did you gain from it? What did you learn from it? You just have to justify it in such a way that you are able to impress the panel regarding yourself. The entire interview is about highlighting yourself, how good you are able to highlight yourself. So, yes, the gap do not matter as long as you are able to explain it.
Yes. So many of you might also be working, and you might think that it's hard to crack Snap while you are working. I was also working when I was preparing for CAT and other OMETs like Snap. And I thought that I won't have any time while preparing and working simultaneously. And it's quite right. We don't have time when going to office and coming back. But it's still not the same way because let's see the testimonial and then I'll also speak for myself what I did just to give you some glimpse that how you can manage your work life and also concentrate more on cracking some friendly exams like SNAP.
People often say you can't get into a top B school while working full time. But my journey to Symbiosis is a proof that it can be done. It wasn't easy. I had to balance my job with my studies, which meant I had to be smart with my time. There were early mornings, late nights, and weekends filled with my preparations. It required sacrifice and consistency, but I stayed committed because I knew my goal was worth it. Getting into Symbiosis wasn't about having a lot of free time. It was about using the time I had efficiently. I realized it wasn't the number of hours that mattered, but the focus I put into those hours. It's about dedication, persistence, and believing in yourself. If I could do it while working full time, you could do it too. It's all about the mindset. Don't let the myths stop you from chasing your dreams. Believe in yourself, plan well, and you will get there.
So just like the mindsets that Arpita has spoken about, mine was the take on the strategy. How you strategize your entire timeline and how you fit your work in between. I was also working from 9 to 5. I was working in a water treatment plant, which was a taxing and physical job to go and be there on the plant. But still, I had weekends, I had late nights and early mornings also, where I could build up a strategy on what to prepare and how to prepare. And syllabus analysis is one of the most important things that helped me a lot to prepare because I could chart down what exactly to read, how much to read, and where to read from. So after that, when I got a glimpse of what to read and analyze, I started giving mocks to identify which are my weakest points. So this is a stepwise iteration which I did from 3 months back. And of course, if we have only 1 week after CAT, which is quite obvious now we have only 1 week after CAT. So it was like just brushing up my formulas, just brushing up the basics, the foundational topics, so that I'll be in hold of each and every topic. I wouldn't get blank on getting any question which won't be out of syllabus for me. So the next one is preparing for SNAP means ignoring other exams. It seems the same for so many other exams. Like when we are concentrating on any one, like CAT, SNAP, and there are many others like NMAT, ZAT, etc. We feel that we are ignoring the other exams. But when we actually see the syllabi of all these exams, we can observe that they are covering almost similar topics, but the way of asking the questions is different. So when you are giving an exam, you have to prepare your mindset in such a way that it adapts to that exam. For SNAP, it is basics and foundation. So for me, I would like to stress on that you have to be clear on your basics and foundational topics, which will be almost covered in the preparation of all the exams. But still, let's see what the others also have to tell about it.
I think the biggest misconception about SNAP preparation is that preparing for SNAP basically means ignoring the other exams. I am here to assure you that is not the case at all. I have given multiple exams in 2 to 3 months and I have done extremely well in them. Yes, the syllabus, the time management and the skills that are tested might be different in different exams. However, the core concepts and your abilities that are tested remains the same. I have used this approach and have scored 99 percentile plus in both ZAT and SNAP. I think your preparation should be very solid in terms of different exams. And one thing that I can say about SNAP is that the importance of speed and accuracy that you require in SNAP actually helps in all the other exams as well. So stay focused and prepare well for your exams. I'm sure that with your hard work and dedication, you can actually crack all of these exams.
Great. Atharv, would you like to take over?
Sure. Thanks, Mansa. So just something about SIBM Pune. We'll move on to snap strategies, our strategies, we do, what our batchmates did, what our juniors did to get into SIBM Pune. We'll get to that, but first let's discuss about SIBM Pune. Why you should attempt Snap? Because SIBM Pune is one of the top B schools in country, and we have very strong alumni network in all of the big names. If you look at the placement report, you can see that names of companies like HUL, PNG, Godrej, big names are there. So why you should attempt Snap? Because as you get so many opportunities like through SIBM Pune. In SIBM, we have different specializations. Different companies come from different specialization, different roles. So it gives you a very good platform to accelerate your career, and that's why if you look at if you look at SIBM Pune and other B schools, if you compare at different parameters, you will see that there are some points at which SIBM is very different from other B schools. For example, we have student-driven culture. Like we are the students, and we are also conducting admissions. There are different committees, different special interest groups, and all of them are doing something. So it gives you a hand-on experience before going to the industry. You get to know how to work in a team, how to deal with real world problems before actually going for internships, and that actually gives you a very good chance of converting it to a PPO or even getting a very good placement later. So moving on from this, you can look at our website and you can get a lot more information on SIBM Pune. You can also look at our social media handles to know more. But this is the gist of it, that it is very different from other B schools because of a few things which are mentioned here. Also, we are currently conducting event called a Coffee with SIBM across 12 cities. So many of the cities are already covered. Tomorrow we have these 4 cities where the event is happening. How many of you are from these cities? Like, is there anyone from Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, or Bengaluru? Yes, so you can go and attend this event tomorrow. It our team is present there, and you can find all the details regarding the address, venue, and everything from our social media handles, and we'll also share it with you. Uh, you have attended session. Okay, so you must have found it helpful. You can tell about that to your friends here, because our team is going around these 12 cities, and the event is about helping aspirants crack snap exam. So our team, whatever we are discussing here right now, our team is going there. We are also conducting some mocks, right? There is a small mock quiz during that session as well. You have chance of winning goodies as well, and you can directly interact with students. Like, you are interacting with us here, you can directly face to face interact with first year, second year students, and you can uh, get that practical, that direct knowledge from them, that how did they crack, how did they appear for exams. So if you are interested, I think it will benefit everyone. Those who have attended, they can vouch for it, I think. So you should go and visit the event. Yeah, tomorrow it's happening in Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, and Bangalore. So those who are from these cities, please go and attend the event.
Yes, as we are also speaking in a generic format in this session, in CWS, we'll be discussing in depth about all the sections, all the strategies, how to take different sections in SNAP. Like there are 3 sections: general English, logical ability, and quantitative analysis. We will take the stepwise each section, how to go and how to take every question. We'll have a mock. We will also show how to analyze the mock, how to take different questions. Then you can also talk to the hosts which are presenting one to one. So it's a quite offline experience which you will get before coming to the college. So we believe that if you can make it to the session, it will be a great opportunity for you. So, okay, we already have a few questions in the chat, but before that, Athar, would you like to share your preparation strategy for the last 7 days?
Sure, sure. So I used a few methods which helped me crack the exam. And not only Snap, I used this in all of my B school exams, and I cracked all of them. I got shortlisted for interviews for all of the exam which I appeared for. And what I did was, first I understood what I'm good at, my strengths. So I used this bucketing method. if there is some topic, for example, in quant, there might be some topics which I'm very good at. For example, time, speed, distance, or let's say some arithmetic, something, some topics which I'm very good at. And there are some topics which I'm not that great at. For example, let's say geometry or some other thing which I'm not that good at. So what I would do was, when I would look at the question and I would see, okay, this question is from this particular topic, I would immediately know that I'm good at this topic, so I would attempt it or not. If there is so I am bucketing my topics into A, B, and C bucket. So if the question is from bucket A, then I know that I'm good with it and I can do it. So I would attempt it first. If the question is from B or C bucket, I would leave it for later and I would come back to it again because I know that I'm not good with that topic and my accuracy is low. So I should not waste my time on that. Regarding mocks, what I used to do was I used to attempt mock every day in the morning, as I already mentioned. In the evening, I would analyze the mock. For example, I would analyze which questions I did wrong. Then I would look into the reason why it was wrong. Was it because of some calculation error? Was it because of some silly mistake from my side? Was it because some concept which I did not know properly? Maybe. So, based on this analysis, I used to cover my weak points. If I'm weak with something, I can cover it up in the next mock. And this actually helps a lot. So, progressively, you can improve yourself. Someone is asking which mock did I give. So the coaching which I went to in Chandigarh, it's a like small coaching center. They provided mocks for it. But what I would say is, whichever mock you give, it do not matter. All mocks are more or less same. What matters is how you are analyzing it, how you are approaching it. Because some people what they do is when they are appearing for mocks, uh, if they are stuck at some question, they would immediately stop it and they will look for the answer. They will start googling. What I would recommend is to do it properly from start to end. Set a timer for this 1 hour. I am giving this exam. You start doing it from start till end. You appear for the mock. Later, don't analyze mock immediately. That's what I would recommend because your brain is already in that mode. You would not be able to look at the question from different perspective. So I would recommend go after 2 or 3 hours at least. Look at the mock paper again and see where it went wrong. Because with a fresh mind, you might be able to notice your mistakes. You will be able to strengthen them in the next subsequent mocks. This is what I did in the last 7 days. And I think if you do this, it will benefit you as well. Yes, Mansa.
Okay. In the last 7 days, what I did was to focus basically on the foundational topics. Like Atav has mentioned, like he did bucketing. So mine was not exactly bucketing, but it was in a different way. What I did was, I didn't, I was preparing for simultaneous exams and I was working also. So I took a easy route. Like these are the topics or these are the questions that can be solved using a particular method or a particular formula. So why leave it? Let's learn the formula and just get done with it. So this was my approach basically. Like I didn't want to leave something that was so easy. So it may be clocks, calendars, or time, speed, distance questions, or time work questions. These type of questions were somewhat in a particular fashion or a pattern that used to come in a repeated way. Like this is the only way you can solve them. So my take was, why leave this question when you can learn the formula and actually attempt them? So without using this bucketing concept, I bucketed the subjects in such a way that this can be done easily. This has to be put mind with. So I bucketed and bifurcated the topics and I concentrated on the ones that were formula based. Like I didn't want to leave something that was so simple, not to regret later that this was just a formula question and I had to leave it. Then next, basically the questions which were slightly tricky, for which like patterns or even verbal questions where we don't know which word will pop up for synonyms and antonyms. For this kind of questions, I spent a lot more of time to improve my basics, like how we can do, try different kind of questions, like twist and turn questions. Like Katar also said, I gave a lot of mocks also 2 times a day. Like Sir also mentioned, one morning, one evening. We all tried all these hit and trial strategies just to make sure what we are adaptable to. So after that, I also realized that some of the topics were very easy for me, like I can crack them even if they are in a very twisted form. So they were the ones that I concentrated more upon. And when I gave the exam, I actually sat for the exam on the D day. I scanned the entire paper for first 2 minutes. I figured out which were these questions that were my favorite ones. And these were the first ones that I actually attempted and answered. Because at the end, when I remember the exam, I didn't want to regret that, oh, I knew this question, I didn't have time to attempt it. I didn't want to have that regret. So this was my strategy. Like you open the paper for the first 2 minutes, scan the entire 60 questions. Like this is the entire 60 questions. So these are the ones that I am good at. I can sure do them. So I did them. So after that, come to the tier two. So like these are I know the topic and but I don't know the sure answer or the formula. So I'll try them. Then finally the difficult ones. Sometimes the difficult ones are the ones we have to leave. So these are the tricky questions planted in the paper to make you leave them. So we have to leave them. So this was my way of doing the entire snap paper. So I got a question in the chat, like how can we improve our mock scores? We can improve the mock scores by analysis only. Like when you are starting giving the mocks, like even before CAT also, if you had given some snap mocks, you must have seen that your scores are fluctuating here and there. For me, when I was giving from 3 months before, prior to the exams, my scores were also fluctuating when one of the sections was difficult, when one was easy. So what I did was I gave sectional mocks. But when it is only 7 days left, it's not advisable to spend a lot of time giving sectional mocks and all. So one thing you can do is just to recognize which ones are your strength-based topics. Either bucket them in such a way that these are your strong topics, or try to identify that these are the ones that can be solved very easily. So this way you can analyze your scores and you can stepwise improve them. Like I found this very easy that you have to plot all the questions that are favorite topics of yours and you have to attempt them at the first shot. So this was my trick of doing the entire paper. So you can also try that if it suits. I got another question. I am not an engineer. I have an experience of exact 2 years in procurement operations. Can I go for operations as my specialization? Sure. You can go for specialization choice as operations if you have an experience in procurement operations. Even if you don't have, also then you can take the role of operations and majors. Because when I was working in water treatment plant, I was in media and communications, which was basically a marketing role. But still, I gained a lot of insights on how a plant works and I wanted to dig deeper into it. That's what dragged me towards operations. So yes, absolutely. Even if you are not an engineer, if as you have experience in procurement operations, you can perfectly take supply chain and operations. And I got another final question. Did the summer internships in SIBM Pune went to 4.5 lakhs? Yes, you can see in our LinkedIn that we have shared the latest summer internship report. SIBM has shared it, and we have clearly mentioned all the audited figures in it. And you can just take a look at what the companies are coming, what's the batch profile. You can exactly see everything on the LinkedIn.
Just
So,
adding
folks,
on
you
to
are
that, all
directly
our yes.
messaging us. Just a minute, Asaf. You are just directly messaging us, I guess. So, you can message us in the group chat only so that none of the question is left. I guess many questions are directly messaging to us.
I think all of them are directly to me at least. Yeah, so
Yes,
someone is
yes, sir.
asking regarding placements to me as well, and I can tell you that all of our placement reports are actually audited. Summer internship report, it's all audited. So, and we are the students, we have been in the placements, we have been for internships, and we know that these numbers are real. And yeah, some institute do inflate it, but they don't claim it to be audited. So it's you have to look into the reports and you have to figure out which is important. Also, like someone is asking regarding verbal, like vocabulary, how to improve vocabulary. So what I did to improve vocabulary was, see, honestly, at this point of time, when only 7 days are left, you cannot do a lot to improve vocabulary. It actually takes a lot of time. So what I did was, 2 months before the exam, I started maintaining a diary, and I would, uh, note down 5 words every day. And on every Sunday, I would revise entire 35 words of the week. This way, I was able to build up a lot of vocabulary. But in next 7 days, I don't think it's possible to build a very good vocabulary. What you can do is you can look into those words which are common in newspapers. If you look into the editorials, You might get some words which are very commonly used in newspapers, but are not that well used in normal conversations. So those kind of words are which may appear in exams. So I would recommend start reading something at least, like I think most of you who have attempted SNAP were reading something before that, because even for SNAP exams for RCs, you have to build your reading speed. You have to, start working on it from right from where your profession started. So you just have to continue that. And vocabulary is something which takes a little time. So you cannot do this in 7 days. But yes, you can brush up on that. That's what is possible.
So I got another question. How tough is interview for SIBM? So first of all, we would like to just explain that it is GE and PI in SIBM. It's not GD and personal interviews. It's group exercise and personal interaction. It's a very different way. You can say it's a very unique way that SIBM takes interviews. We were also surprised when we gave the interviews that we didn't expect SIBM to do this in such a unique way. We were expecting some common format GD and personal interview which will go to take happen, but it was not the same way. GE is a creative kind of group exercise that you do. And personal interaction actually felt like an interaction because none of the questions were like grilling questions, and none of the panelists also were like, as per my experience, it was very smooth. We felt like we were sitting and talking to each other in a coffee table. It was like that only. So it was that simple. They asked me different questions from my work experience. They even asked me about my hobbies also. Like most of my interview was revolving around my hobbies. So you cannot expect that what they will ask you in the interview, but we can assure you that this is going to be an interaction more than an interview. So you can well prepare all about yourself, be clear about your candidature, your work experience, even if you are a fresher, be clear about what you have done in your college. Even if you have a gap, like we have mentioned before, you should be able to justify your gap. So as far as you are clear about yourself, it's good to go. You will clear the interview.
Just adding on to Mansa's point here, it really depends on what interview panel is. For example, they asked me guesstimate. I was asked one guesstimate question as well, which is not very common. I After coming to SIBM, I asked in my batch, and nobody was asked guesstimate. But it was asked from me, and I was not able to answer. So it's also one thing that if you are not able to answer a particular question, it's okay. They are not going to reject you on basis of that. They asked me some guesstimates regarding, some how many bottle of Fantas are sold in a particular city in summer months, and I was not able to do that because during interview it was not something which I was expecting. So it's totally fine if you are not able to answer some question. If you don't know a question answer to some current affairs question, they might ask you something regarding what's happening in Middle East, in Russia, in USA. So it's recommended that you brush up on your current affairs and GK as well. But if you're not able to answer one or two questions, it's fine. If you are able to answer other questions, if your strengths are in some other areas, you can highlight that. But don't get demoralized if you are not able to answer a few questions. It's all right.
And while you are not answering the questions, folks, please don't try to fake any of the answers because it just you'll just get caught if you are just faking the answers. If you stay true to yourself, like if you don't know the answer, just say you don't know the answer. It will be quite easy to navigate through the interview, but if you make a fake answer, it will take the interview to the other direction, which will be even more worse. So even in my case also, I didn't know some of the answers. Even when they asked something related to my BTech and my college, I was not quite sure. I didn't remember. Then I said the same thing. I was not quite sure at the same moment. Then they navigated the other way. So it's not that every time you have to fake and you have to give the answer. If you don't know, you can just say that you don't know.
Someone asked me regarding quants. So what I would tell you is, for quants, you will have to memorize a few things. For example, fractions, squares, cubes. It helps you to calculate faster. As already mentioned, you only get 1 minute per question on an average here. And in 1 minute, you have to do the entire calculation. That's not really possible if you are not well versed with multiplication tables, with fractions, with percentages, if you are able to calculate it quickly, then it becomes very easy for you to clear this exam. So whatever recommend, it can be done in 7 days easily. It will take hardly 2 or 3 days to memorize these things. So just memorize fractions, right? What's 100 by 12, what's 100 by 13, 100 by 14. You can memorize a few things like this. And this will help you to clear the, when question comes in front of you and you know that, you know how to solve it. But calculation takes a lot of time. It tends to build up pressure over time, because if you take 2 minutes to solve one question, when you're moving to the next question, you know that you have already taken a lot of time in previous question. It keeps building on pressure, and towards the end, you will have to leave a few questions which you might be able to solve if you get some time. So you have to manage your time well. Snap is all about managing your time. So just memorize a few things, squares, cube, as I already mentioned. 7 days are more than enough for that. Mansa, you would like to add something on this?
Not exactly. It's the same way. It's actually the trick that I followed. Like if you have good formulas, just memorize them and get done with the questions. That was my trick and strategy to attempt the paper in the first shot. So you can do that if you have good formulas. Like you know that this question can be shortly solved with this formula. Why leave it? Just memorize the formula, get done with the question. You will get a mark easily. So it's a thing that you can cover. I got another question. Does the difficulty level vary in different slots? Not exactly. All the three slots are normalized, and even if one section seems difficult in one slot, it will be normalized in the other slot. No, the difficulty level is not varying in all the three slots. It's more or less the same. Oops. Do we have any more questions? Okay. How many attempts you gave? I gave 2 attempts. Like somebody asked me how many attempts you gave. I gave 2 attempts of snap. You have 3 attempts you can give, 1, 2, or 3 you can select. And the highest among them will be taken as your snap score. Not the common or some average. The highest of the three will be taken as the snap score. I gave 2 tests.
Any other question regarding anything, regarding gap year, regarding preparation for SNAP, anything specific about any section, any topic? Feel free to ask.
Okay, I got another question. Like after CAT exam, somebody is giving their mocks, but the scores are quite low. Okay, so how can I improve my score? Because I have applied for some SIBM Pune, Bangalore, and SEM HRD. Okay, if your SNAP scores are low, first thing you have to do is to identify why it is going low. There might be some questions that you think are easy, but you are not able to solve them. Or it can be the reason that you are spending a lot of time on single questions. Some questions are easy, we accept that, but they are lengthy. They are these kind of tricky questions that will waste your time. So better keep them for the end or either leave them. And one thing you have to recognize is to identify the formula based question. Like sometimes, very simply, for example, take some calendars type of questions if leap year comes. So these kind of questions are formula type questions. You can easily identify them that yes, we can easily calculate them and we can get the answer. So these kind of sample questions you can easily figure out. So topics like this, sometimes in quants also, we have permutations and combinations. Some topics in them also come formula based. So you have to identify these kind of easy topics, these kind of basic topics that you can easily pick up using some tricks, tips, or some way of solving the question. Sometimes questions like time, work, or speed, distance, these kind of questions come which are not formula based. They require a lot of strategy, like where to take from, how to attempt that question. So these kind of questions you can keep to the end. Similarly, with vocabulary and grammar also, if you think that the question is quite easy, Like if you think you are good in active passive voice or direct indirect voice, why leave that question? Attempt that question first and then move on to the next. So this way you can stepwise improve the marks.
Somebody asked me a question. Um, I'm good at arithmetic, geometry, and PNC. I'm not good at other topics. Should I focus on my strengths or cover algebra topics in last 7 days? So, okay. So you have to look into it this way. Okay. So if you are strong in some topics, if you don't revise those topics for next 7 days, will you not be able to attempt those questions? Maybe. So what I would recommend is topics which you are strong at. You just have to revise a little. You don't have to go into depth. Whatever time is remaining, you can cover those topics which you're not that strong at. You see, it's a chance. Maybe you are able to solve the question, maybe you are not able to solve the question which you are not good at. But don't leave those questions which you are good at. If you're good at arithmetic and geometry, if there is a question of arithmetic or geometry in the question, you should be able to do it. So just whatever you're doing in last 7 days, make sure that it does not affect your ability to solve those questions. When it comes to those which you are not that good at, which you are not that strong at, cover those things which is, like Mansa said, if you can remember a few formulas, that's fine. If you can memorize a few formulas, you can be good at some topics. You might be able to solve more questions. So balance out your preparation. You can't focus entirely on one thing or entirely on other thing. You have to balance out a little. It's up to you what strategy you are following.
Okay, so I got another question. Like somebody left their job for preparing cat and omats. Like, should they tell this truth in personal interaction? Yes, exactly. If you have left a job, it will obviously show a gap in your CV or when you have applied for SNAP. So you have to tell the truth that you have left, that you are preparing dedicatedly for the cat and omats. You can also share your strategy, like why you have taken this decision, like leaving a job and coming for higher studies. Of course, it's a risk when you are competing with this many people. Like you don't know if you are going to get through and get admission in SIBM Pune or any one of your dream college. So you have to be truthful. You can give your long-term view that why did you take this big decision? Why did you leave your job and what made you come into the journey that you have to dedicatedly prepare for CAT and OMITS. So if you tell them in this strategical way, it will be a little truthful and it will also give a glimpse to the interviewers like why actually you dedicated this 3 months or 4 months to give this exam.
Just adding on to the point, it's always recommended to be as genuine as possible in interviews. You can try to be a little fake, you can try to, make stories, but in my experience, you are successful when you are very genuine. And that's what after like, in second year of MBA. I can confidently say that you have to be as genuine as possible in all interviews. Because those who are taking interviews, they're very experienced people. They have experience of like 20, 30 years of taking interviews. They can see through it everything, whatever you are making story, anything. So please make sure that you are as genuine as possible, be truthful, and that's what creates a good impression. There is another question. Someone says, I am a gem fresher and have a gap of 1 year. Can I make it? I am a gem fresher and I have a gap of 3 years. I made it. So you can definitely make it. You just have to be confident in yourself and you have to justify. You have to prepare your answers well. See, 1 year gap is fine. But when it comes to 3 or 4 years gap, you know that question is going to come. Someone is going to ask, why is there a gap in your profile? And you have to prepare your answers accordingly beforehand. So yes, definitely you can make it. And I really hope you make it.
Okay, even if you have left the job, you shouldn't be afraid, like, how could you be a good manager? No, it's not like that. I just said, like, you have to give a long-term and short-term view, like, why did you take this decision? Then you will show yourself as a strategic manager. Like, yes, I have taken this risk. It will also show your risk-taking ability. Like, yes, I have given up my job, I have stepped out of it, And then I've taken this risk that I have to get into some good college, premium B school, to hone my skills, to polish them, and become a good manager. If you articulate your answer in such a way, it will please the interviewers, and of course you will get through it. So you don't have to be afraid that they'll ask if you have left the job, you are afraid of it, you are running away from it. No, it's not like that. It all depends on how you are strategizing and articulating your answer.
I got a question that someone is saying mocks are made of a bit higher level than actual exam. See, you never know. You really never know what level of exam is actually going to come. For example, the year which we appeared for SNAP exams, even like those who got in 35 to 40 range, they made it to SIBM. But last year, paper was a little bit easier, and people who had like 40 to 45 marks, they made it to SIBM. So you cannot really say that what marks you can aim for, what level of difficulty will be. Yes, some coachings do make very difficult exams to either motivate students or demoralize them depending on the depending on their objective. But yes, you can really never say what difficulty level is going to be. So prepare your best, do your best. That's what I would recommend.
So my take on this is difficulty or easy is a subjective topic. Like for me, a paper can be easy if I know all the topics. It can be difficult for me if I know nothing. If I start my preparation at this moment, like only 5, 6 days are left, I'll feel the paper is difficult if I'm not able to cover the entire syllabus. But if I started preparing from 3 months back, I have been extensively preparing and dedicatedly been in this journey, I would find it easy if all the topics and the questions are in my favor. So it's a very subjective thing that if someone is coming to you and telling that, oh, this lot or this paper is easy or difficult, it shouldn't be the same for you. You should be confident on your topics, on your preparation, and how you are attempting. And please, folks, never get influenced by the person sitting next to you. His strategy is different. His or her strategy and take on the paper is quite different from what you are preparing for. His or her dream school might also be different. Their dream competition exam might be different. So when you are preparing for something, be rooted to what your strategy is and how you are preparing for it. Because it's quite a subjective thing. Throughout the journey, you are trying to upskill yourself, you are trying to analyze and increase your mock scores, and you are sitting for your dream B score. So it's your strategy, and don't fall for this subjective comparison.
Okay,
So do we
so
have any more
we have
questions?
only yes, we have only till 11 p.m. So I think we should, if there are no more questions, we can wrap up the meeting right now. And you can always reach out to us on our social media platforms and on LinkedIn as well. We will be happy to help you out with anything.
Okay. Folks, you can scan the QR codes.
And those who are
We
in
also
Mumbai,
mentioned,
Pune,
yes,
they can attend our event tomorrow. We
absolutely, yes.
Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi. These four cities tomorrow we are having an event. Our team is there. You can directly interact with first and second year students. You can you can go and attempt the mock which we prepared for you. There's a mock quiz
Yes.
as well in the event.
Okay, somebody asked me about the time and venue. You can scan the Instagram code. We have already posted the host your meet as meet your host pictures on Instagram. You have all the details. We also have WhatsApp groups for the same. If you can just scan the QR code, it will take you to the Instagram page where you can find the exact uh, location and you can find the exact poster for it. You can find the details and you can join the WhatsApp group as
Okay, thank you everyone for patiently listening to us. interacting with us. It was great interacting with you. And hopefully, this session was helpful for your preparation.